If anyone would like to make a video or audio recording of this meeting, please let me or anyone else know. Thank you very much, and again, good evening. First agenda item is approval of the minutes. Has everybody had an opportunity to review the minutes? Motion from John, second from Joe, all in favor? Next is announcements, correspondence, and distributions. Does anybody have any announcements, correspondence, or distributions? Joe?
Got a couple of things, Mike. First, I just wanted to mention that I was attending the joint conference down the Cape the last couple of days with Kevin and Bob, and they've shared a lot of information with us. I found it to be extremely informative. They covered a range of topics, including the findings from the Foundational Budget Review Commission. They covered PARC, MCAS. They covered, there were a number of sessions regarding social and emotional challenges that our students face. They covered a couple of sessions on school budget and policy. So there's a lot of good information there, and we'll be putting some packets together for each of the members that we'll distribute out at the next committee meeting.
Great, thank you.
Cool. Anybody else? Well, I would like to personally thank Cecilia, if you want to come up to the table there. Cecilia worked with Melissa in central office redoing the Section B, correct, of the policy. So,
Well, thank you for having me tonight. With working with Melissa for the past year, working on Section B, we definitely had some struggles with that, but we overcame it, and now we're almost done with Section B, so that was fun. We did not have a copy online, so we had to retype every single Section B policy, the ones that are here now and the ones that we got rid of, along with MASC versions. So it's a lot of long hours and some long nights, but it was worth it. We definitely learned what to do for the next section, so hopefully the next section comes out a little faster. I know they're a little shorter than Section B, but I'm happy to work on the next one.
and how long did it take you, Cecilia?
Well, we started it last year, and we're just finishing now, so about a year to work on it, yeah. Because we just had to retype everything. We tried scanning it in, but Dr. Tremblay had made notes on the sheets, so scanning it in didn't really work out.
He's a big note taker.
Yeah.
Ruins everything.
Melissa and I call it the hieroglyphics.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so I understand you had a big day today too. You want to call it a couple of college trips?
I did. I interviewed with Stonehill this morning and LaSalle in the afternoon, and I'm applying there shortly, so I'll be excited to hear back from those schools. They're
Very
definitely
nice.
in my top.
Very nice. Any other member?
I just wanted, I mean, your help has been greatly appreciated. I know it's a lot of work. The policy committee's been reviewing those policies now, I think, since the beginning of the summer, and it made a big difference to have everything typed out for us. So I really, really appreciate it. Thanks for all your work.
No problem. Thank you for letting me help you guys.
Yeah.
Thank you for having me under your wing.
Any other member?
Well, it's nice to put your face to the little name tag that we see in central office, but
Yes.
I had no idea you were typing those by hand, so
Yeah,
that was an arduous task, so thank you very much.
no problem.
Well, we have a little gift for you.
Oh, you might have
Thank
seen
you.
this, Cecilia, but we saved one just for you.
We're gonna have to get Dr. Tremblay to do more
Thank
shopping.
you.
I know.
Thank
Again,
you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And I wish you the best.
Thank you.
Thanks for all your
Thanks
help.
for coming,
No problem.
Cecilia.
Bye. See you tomorrow.
Joe?
I just had one more thing
Sure.
for announcements and correspondence. I wanted to recognize Atlas Travel and Elaine Osgood, who was instrumental in helping us put together the hospitality and management program. Atlas Travel and Elaine was recently ranked as the #2 women-led company in the state by the Globe Magazine's 2015 Women in Power issue. So, it's amazing to have that type of company in Milford, but even more amazing that they're partnering with us here at the school to roll out the hospitality program. So I just wanted to recognize her.
And if I'm not mistaken, having met her through the chamber, that's a second career for her, if I'm not mistaken. She left her first to do that.
I think you could be right. I'm not.
Yeah, yeah, amazing woman, amazing.
Yeah.
Anybody else? Invitation to speak. Nobody here to speak. Next agenda item, Milford High School liaison to the school committee. Good evening.
Good evening to you. All right. So,
For the community, could you state your full name, just so they know who you are?
So my name is Juan Relis. I am a class representative for the class of 2016. It is a pleasure to be here before all of you today. So without further ado, I'll just go right ahead. I have two statements which I'd like to get into. The first of the two is a little run through of what Milford High School has been doing in this past month. And then the second is just a little personal story I just want to throw in there for you guys. Okay, so October 30th, this past Friday, the students of Milford High ran through something along the lines of a marketing campaign for Middle School East and the class of 2020. The cheerleaders performed, the marching band performed, and from what I heard, they performed well. A video was shown regarding Milford's core values, and many representatives spoke about the clubs within the high school. I was told from a first-hand witness that the 8th graders were interested and attentive towards the events which transpired. This is awesome to hear because, getting the 8th graders engaged with the high school process is something great. I look forward to, seeing these kids develop. They're all promising, and sharing a community with them is something, great, like I said. So noteworthy as well, the school newspaper, which we have here, the Scarlet Letter, it's split into two. So we have the Scarlet Letter, one section, it kept the same name. It has features, interviews, and articles covering miscellaneous topics, such, and then the newer A Hawk's Tale is for a creative take on journalism where students can let their imaginative stories and poems be read by their peers. This is good news because students who are more inclined to express themselves creatively through writing now have the ability to do so. Thirdly, for those of you who didn't know, Milford participated in their first Science Olympiad. We took home the silver medal and the bronze medal for 2 events. This is pretty impressive because we had a very short time to prepare for the event, for the Olympiads, and we at Milford High School expect success and excellence from the Olympiad team in the future. Lastly, among the updates, Milford High School Soccer has recently been honored by the Assistant Executive Director of the MIAA for an extraordinary contribution to the food pantry, and we were awarded with the Community Service and Leadership Award. So that's cool. It is clear that Milford High School is capable of making a significant impact in those in its surroundings. I would like to take 1 second to tell you guys a little personal story and how this is true for me. So, I've played soccer my whole life. My very first steps, my parents put a ball right in front of me and I kicked it, and I've been playing soccer ever since. I don't think I've gotten much better since then, but I've been playing the sport. I cherish it. Eventually, the time came for me to sign up for freshman soccer in the high school. I had my very first game over there in the backfields a couple years ago, and when the first whistle blew for the game to start, I was frozen in awe of the moment. I was so appreciative. I was thinking, wow, this is where my 4-year high school soccer journey begins. And I played the game, I scored, it was an awesome day. A couple of years later, senior year comes around, we go through the season, last practice, the practice ends, coach calls us over, he says, all right boys, huddle up, and he says, all right, I want you to say Milford on 3, okay? And we say 1, 2, 3, Milford. And I was frozen again like I was years before, thinking similar thoughts. Wow, this is where my 4-year high school soccer journey ends. You know what? In between those 2 moments, I made some amazing friends that I'll know that I don't hope will be there for the rest of my life, because I know they'll be there for a long, long time, probably for the rest of my life. Soccer taught me what maturity was. It taught me that having fun was a priority, and most importantly, it taught me that, and as cliche as it sounds, if you have a goal, if you work hard enough at it, it can be accomplished. Soccer it's only one extracurricular, and it just so happens to apply to me. But there are students out there participating in other great activities. Like, for example, the debate club, peer mediation, SAD, mock trials, and, you know, of course, the sports. Whatever it is, Milford High School, it offers so many programs that can help produce exceptional adults. And I'm very thankful to be, to have developed as not just a student, but as a person throughout Milford High School and my 4 years here. And that's all I have to say.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. I'll open it up to the committee. Joe?
No, thanks for the update and sharing your personal story. I definitely appreciate that, and it, you know, it just reinforces what, you know, we've talked a lot about in the past, that within our school district we offer so many programs, so many services, that it's really up to the individual student to make the most of that opportunity that they have in front of them. And I'm so glad that you did that in your time here. And, you know, if you have an opportunity to interact with some 8th graders again, you know, definitely convey that to them, that, you know, they have 4 years to make the most of it. And it's really important to take advantage of all those opportunities. So,
Yeah.
thanks.
John?
Yeah, Mr. Chair, I think you've captured the essence of Milford High School, or at least a portion of the essence.
Yeah.
With introducing the 8th graders to Milford High School, showing what it has to offer, sharing, you know, what it's meant to you, what it's done for you, and how you've developed, and, you know, what it leads to in life is what we want to showcase here, and just expose everybody to the, you know, as Joe said, the opportunities here. So, you know, thank you for all you've contributed.
Jen?
First of all, you have such a great presence, and you're so calm and so well spoken. It's hard to believe you're a high school senior, that you're a high school kid. But, you know, you talked at the beginning about the marketing campaign, and I think the words you closed with were such a nice marketing campaign. We should probably capture those words in that description of Milford High School and your time here, because it was very well said and very representative and reflective of what we have in our high school here. So thank you.
Real quick, you may or may not know, what were the 2 events that we placed for the...
There was an engineering of a car, which I know we got the silver in, and interestingly enough, it was a team of all females, which I was like really, I thought that was cool, because usually when people think of cars, they think of boys, right? For a team of all females to just hold their own out there, I thought that was awesome. You know, you don't have, like when it comes to sports, you don't have to be like, or when it, sorry, I'm tripping over my own tongue here. When it comes to sports, you have to be big and tall to like really get the job done. But when it comes to science and the mind, it doesn't matter what gender you are, what your size is, what your physique or anything. It just matters that you care and that you're dedicated enough to devote time.
Absolutely, thank you.
Yeah. And is that everyone?
No, I was going to just say, I won't tell Mrs. Parsons about our conversation earlier before everybody got here. Nervous, afraid of public speaking, didn't know what you were going to say. You hit the ball out of the park. Unbelievable.
No, stop.
You're a natural. You're a natural. But I agree with everybody else. I want to say thank you for coming in and you know, giving the report. We really like to hear these kind of things. We like to hear about all the good things that go on in the Milford Public Schools, and there are a lot of them. You know, and we have a lot of great things to be, you know, proud of, you know, students as well as programs.
Yeah.
So, again, I wanted to say thank you so much. You did a great job.
Thank you.
Well,
Thank you.
honestly, no, like, thank you to you guys. You guys are the ones that are pulling the strings from behind, making it all happen. So, I don't...
Some days it feels like that.
Yeah, so, you guys are just essentially complimenting yourselves, so you guys give yourselves a pat on the back. Huh?
He's a politician.
Yeah, you'll run for school committee someday.
Right.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much.
Seat's empty,
Thank you.
buddy.
Alright.
Come on.
Have a good night.
That's it?
You're all
Thank
set.
you.
Oh my goodness.
Thank you. You did a great job.
You guys have a good night.
All right, take
Nice
care.
meeting you.
Next agenda item is the Milford High School 2016 vending account request update.
Yes, the committee has received from the high school principal, Carrie, her request for the 2016 school year for the vending machine allocation. It's all for your review. The total is $9,273.97.
And this will require a vote.
It does require a vote.
Has everybody had a chance to review it?
What, can you refresh my memory, what is this for again?
This would be all of the revenue that is raised via the vending machines.
Yep.
That's unaccounted revenue for the school committee
Okay.
to approve. It's essentially mini grants throughout the high school, because the funds are raised here, so the revenue stays here
Okay.
with the kids.
Everybody all set? Can I have a motion?
Make a
From
motion.
Jen, second from Joe. All in favor? Aye. Okay, next agenda item is the first reading of the Milford Public Schools policy, Section B.
All right, so, as you heard from Cecilia earlier, we were working off hard copies. So I apologize that we don't have red line versions here, but, as you heard, she had to literally go through and retype all the policies. And there are roughly 40 policies that we reviewed in this section. I would say, for most of the policies, the changes are really just cosmetic in nature. I think of the 40, to give you a little breakdown here, go back. So of the 40, roughly 15 were unchanged. We felt that the policy that we had in place was still relevant, didn't require any changes. There were 10 where we replaced our existing policy with the MASC policy. We felt that the MASC policy was a little bit clearer and it really defined what was happening in practice. And then there's roughly about 15 policies where that led to some in-depth discussions, and we made some adjustments to those policies. So, we can leave it up to the board. I don't think we necessarily need to go through each of these policies today. What I would suggest is that everyone take the time to review the policies that were included in your packet and compare that to the policies that are available online, as well as on your iPads, to compare and contrast some of the changes. It's also a good, I know, speaking from my experience, it's actually a good exercise to go through. It really, I think, will shine a light on some things that you may not have been aware of before. So I would encourage everyone to go through and just compare and contrast each of the policies. And then at the next meeting, we can spend some time going through some of the feedback that you may have. Is that, Jen,
So-
did I cover everything there?
Yeah, I think that's a great summary of it. And as you said, it was a lot to kind of muddle through, and a lot of them either hadn't been updated, or even if they had been reviewed, the original date was still on some of them from the 70s to the 90s. So, in some cases, even some of the cosmetic changes we made just made it sound more fresh and more current and more reflective in most cases of what we're actually doing or what we think we should be doing as a committee.
Right.
And so, Joe, just for clarification, so there will not be a red line copy coming out, the copies that we have?
That's correct. Yeah,
Okay.
there won't be a red line version.
Okay.
So you're really going to have to compare and contrast the
Okay.
old
Yeah.
policy to the new. And as I mentioned, you're going to find that really most of them didn't change. And if it's helpful, what I can do, Jen and I went through and we identified the policies where there were some substantial changes. So we can give you that list. So if you want to focus in on that list
Right.
initially, because I think that's what's going to lead to most of the discussion. And then the others, you can quickly scan through and you'll find that there really wasn't any material changes to those.
Okay. Any questions?
No, I think that would be good if we all knew which ones you guys actually did the most work on, and just compare. Yeah, I'd like to see that.
Okay.
Yeah, I also want to just commend you, Joe, because this was a huge, huge undertaking. I mean, this wasn't one little policy here or there. It was just a massive collection of policies, operational procedures. It's not the most riveting reading that we'll ever do, but you took the lead on this last spring and really spent a lot of time putting it all together in a way that's going to be helpful to us and future school committees. So thank you.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that, and I think I learned a valuable lesson here. Like it's we probably need to break it up going forward. So we're not presenting 40 policies to the whole committee, but lesson learned there.
John?
Yeah, Joe, I had a chance to briefly review it today. And to your point, red line's not available. I don't really think it's necessary. I have an old paper copy of the policy along with the electronic, and I literally just took a couple of sections. I didn't have enough time to go through all of them, and just put the old and the new and read. And you can see some of them are almost identical, and some of them are markedly changed. And I can't imagine how much work went into it, but it's some of them are a very quick read. Okay, not much difference. Okay, can see there's some change, and we'll, I'll have to get into it a little bit more in depth. But, despite the fact that there's no red line, I don't think that's a real obstruction. Any summary you can provide would, of course, be appreciated. But, mostly want to thank you for the hard work that I know you've put into it, and I look forward to a future discussion on it.
Thank you as well. Any other member? Okay, next agenda item, report of the Assistant Superintendent for Business and Human Resources.
Yes, the first item is the approval of the warrants. I have, 6 warrants for approval this evening. The first warrant is in the amount of $198,773.91.
I have a motion from Joe, second from John. All in favor?
The second warrant is in the amount of $25,816.28.
Motion from Jen, second from Joe. All in favor?
The third warrant is in the amount of $438,148.25.
Motion from Joe, second by John. All in favor?
The fourth warrant is in the amount of $25,429.46.
Motion from John, second from Jen. All in favor?
The fifth warrant is in the amount of $21,345.13.
Motion from Joe, second from Joe. All in favor?
And the last warrant is in the amount of $270,399.10.
Motion from Jen, second by John. All in favor?
The committee also has a list of the latest appointments from our previous meeting. We do have a professional development course reimbursement request in the amount of $37,019.50, which does require a vote.
Motion from, any discussion, I should say first? No? Motion from John, second from Joe. All in favor?
And the committee also has the school bus transportation bid. I just wanted to let the committee know that we have moved forward with our bid process. It has been advertised, and with the bids coming in on the December 16th deadline, that will be plenty enough time for us to have an actual number for our 2017 budget. So we're in good shape, and it also gives us plenty of time if in fact the process does not reap the numbers that we might want to consider going back out again at a later date. So at this point, we're in good position with our school bus transportation bid. And that's all I have.
That's all? All right, next agenda item is subcommittee updates. First one being policy. Any update? Or are you good with the, are you good?
More to come.
Okay. Next is wellness. We did meet I gave everybody the minutes from the wellness meeting. It was a good meeting, very organized. Shout out to Mrs. Dagny's, great job. We talked about the summer lunch program, the nutrition summer lunch program. A lot of people, if you don't know what that is, it was a group in town that got together and prepared free lunches for different organizations, children in the town. It was very successful. We talked about some curriculum changes and jump rope, for a sponsor for Heart. Dr. Tremley talked about his greenhouse project and where he is with that. Some health changes at the middle school we talked about. The big one that we spent a lot of time on and in a positive way was the behavioral health and substance abuse area. And everybody's in agreement that we need to make some changes to that. We need to get more help in that area. And so, through the Metro West Adolescent Health Survey, the information that we have there, talking with the school nurses, what they're seeing sometimes on a daily basis. So that's a kind of an area where they're really, really gonna put some focus on this year. Working with Amy Leone and others in the community. So I'm glad to see that. We've had people in here that have reported to us, and, you know, there's issues where we know that some children aren't getting the services that they need because there's some outside influence that's not allowing it. And we're gonna try to work to see how we can overcome those obstacles so the children get the services that they truly need. And we talked about, you know, body mass index and things like that, but other than that, it was a really good meeting, as always. A really diverse group of people around the table, you know, people from the schools, people from the school committee, people from the hospital, people from, I believe there's a woman now that's from the YMCA in Franklin, so it's a.
Board of Health.
Yeah, Board of Health, Paul's there now, Paul Mazzucchelli. So really, it was just a great meeting, so, and like I said, I gave everybody minutes so you'd have them. Okay, any questions? Okay, middle school east, we'll skip over. Woodland Building School, we'll skip over. Technology,
No update.
no update. Climate, culture, and morale,
So our next meeting's December 10th. Bob did put together a survey that we sent out to the committee earlier this week for some feedback. The goal is to send that survey out to the entire staff at some point in November, so we can collect some of that data before our next meeting on the 10th. But really, the survey is just asking 3 basic questions. You know, one, what are some of the issues that they're seeing within their individual schools? 2, what do they feel is working well? What are some best practices that we can share with other schools? And then the 3rd is any suggestions that they may have on ways that we can improve culture and morale across the district. So we'll gather that feedback, share it with the committee, and then put together a plan going forward.
okay. School liaison updates. Anybody been in their schools?
I did have a chance to attend the Shining Star Monster Mash.
Yes.
Very cute. Kind of a different experience from when you see the big ones there. But it's a great event for little guys, and they had a tremendous support there and presence from staff members, which was really nice to see. I know Lucy was really happy, and Judy, they were both there. They were really happy with the turnout of families and kids and staff.
That's great. That's great. Any other member? Joe?
Yeah, it's a similar deal. I want to give credit to the PTO at Stacy. They got a little creative this year. Instead of doing a monster mash or instead of doing a dance for the 5th grade students, they did a haunted hallway. And they got some of the students that are in the drama club at the middle school and at the high school to come in. And, they did a nice job putting together that scary hallway, and the kids got to walk through. And it was a nice event. They raised some funds, and it was just a creative way to do something different at the schools.
Very nice. Any other member? Okay. Future agenda items. Anybody have any future agendas they want me to have added? John?
Yeah, Mr. Chairman. With regard to Policy B, which the subcommittee's been working on extensively, but specifically with Policy File BCA, which is School Committee Member Ethics, I'd suggest, or I'd like to see that made as a future agenda item. You know, I have an issue with, and I take exception to, some individual actions of members of this committee that have taken place several times in the past few months. It'd be inappropriate to discuss that at tonight's meeting in detail. I think it needs to be properly posted as an agenda item. And with that, I'd make a motion that the school committee member ethics policy be a future agenda item.
Okay. Can I have a second on that?
Do we have to make a motion to put something on the agenda?
Not
Or
really,
can we just
no.
make
No.
a request?
Well, that's what I would suggest, and if it
Okay,
motion's not
yeah,
required.
absolutely. Absolutely, I will take care of it.
So what we could do, when we review the policies at the next meeting for discussion, we can draw attention to that one specifically and
Well,
talk through it.
that one has particular interest to me because I don't see that it's changed in the proposal from the old to the new, but I really want to have a discussion about it because I think it needs to be addressed.
Okay. Anybody else? Jen?
Can we go back to adding in the evaluation of the superintendent?
Yes.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Kind of off of what John was talking about, an old business. Everybody got, electronic copies of the 2014-15 operating protocols. And I'd like everybody to take an opportunity to review them. It's basically a guide to how we act in the community, how we act towards one another, and what are our do's and what are our don'ts. And so I agree, and I thank you, John, for bringing that up tonight. But if you could take a few minutes, one of the things that I spoke to Joe in great length about that sticks out to me is that all communication from the school committee to the media or to the public is to be done by the chair unless the chair designates somebody to do it for him or her. As I did at town meeting, when I asked John to present the article at town meeting, the reason I did that was originally was John's article, and I wanted him to present it. But that was my decision. And so I think we have to be cognizant of that, is that, you know, all of, excuse me, all of these, I'd like everybody to review, because there's a lot of interesting information and protocol that I think on a daily basis, sometimes of the way the world is, we kind of forget about it, and it just freshens us up. So I agree, John. I definitely will make sure that's on an agenda, so we can have some discussion on it.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Does anybody else have anything for old business?
I do, Mr. Chair.
Yes.
I'd just like to point out that at the last meeting, there was a somewhat lengthy discussion, which led to a motion in the announcements and correspondence section, which I did not have a chance to participate in that discussion. And I just want to point out what some may consider a small point, but I consider it a large point, that, you know, the discussion that night kept using the phrase IT director. But the point of that discussion, and the point of the discussion in the meeting prior, was with regard to a proposed position for the Director of Educational Technology and Digital Learning. And there's a distinct difference between that position and the position of an IT director, which we're using vendor services for right now. So there's been a lot played in the media. There's been a lot of discussion within the community. I just want to make that clear, that that's a distinct difference, but it wasn't made such at the previous meeting.
Right. Yeah. I appreciate that. Any other member? And with that, I'll ask for a motion for adjournment. Jen? John? Good night, everybody, and thank you for watching.